Hello, this is my wrapping up Gatekeeper. This is my second time filming it, so I'm going to try to go a little bit faster than last time. So this is post one. This is going to be my free write and explore. I talked about the origin story of skating on the beach in Venice, and I mostly was focused on the energy and the connection with people you make when you're in environments like that. And that was what I was focused on here. And then in post two, when we were breaking into our little tiny questions, I was most focused on what does it take for strangers to connect? And I wanted to know what drew people to each other and why some people connected with each other better than others. Moving on to post 3. This was found from Google. It was an Atlantic article. The author, Joe, I cannot pronounce his last name, or I probably could, but I don't want to butcher it. He does a bunch of interviews with different psychologists and sociologists and people with personal opinions about the subject, and then uses that to create more of an opinion piece on why we should talk to strangers more. And this one was interesting, and it kind of led me into the benefits of talking to strangers. And on this one, here is my citation response, updated thinking, and questions. And this one, my feedback was that a citation, but it was here. I just didn't put it at the bottom, which is something that I was not consistent about throughout this. So post 4, this is going to be my best show. This is going to be also from Google, but it's an spsp.org article, and professors Jillian Sandstrom and Erica Boothby wrote this. And wrote mostly about how fears impact our communication with strangers and the benefits of doing so again, similar to the last article. So why do people avoid talking to strangers? And then this one, here's my citation for the first half, my quote, my response. In this response, I did more of a personal connection to it. I talked about an impactful conversation I had in my life. I was like 16, the woman was about 80 years old. And we talked for an entire 6-hour plane ride. And even though I was like an anxious 16-year-old who kept trying to get out of the conversation because I was just awkward, it ended up being a core moment for me. And even though we don't have each other's names, I've never spoken to her again. I think about her pretty frequently. So, updated thinking. This is the citation for what I was referring to here in my updated thinking, and then questions. And then once again, I should have MLA style cited the MLA cited at the bottom for my work cited, but I did not. This is not post 5, but this is my each one teach one. For post 5, I did find it from JSTOR. And this was a chapter from a book. It was a professional publication. It was from a chapter of a book called Relationships, Circles of Friends, Encounters with Strangers. And this talked about how social media impacted relationships and communication in China. And for my response, I talked about growing up in an era where phones were becoming more popular. I talked about how it affected my communication in my life. Middle school was about the time where these things were becoming popular and how it impacted my social life. My updated thinking and questions, and then my works cited here at the bottom. This one I had forgot to add a quote to my response area. This one, post 6. This was, I found from JSTOR, but this was more of a poetry almost piece. It was a piece from a publication in an article, a newspaper in 1812. And they used a bunch of metaphors comparing friendship to plants and earth and water and stuff like that and the importance of it. And this one I found interesting, and I included it as part of my research because it really emphasized the importance of friendship and creating those experiences and those acquaintanceships, as they explain, in our day-to-day lives, and something that I feel like we kind of lost touch of with media and social media's usage. My updated thinking, questions, and we're excited. I guess this could be best to show because all the things are in the right place. I just like the other article because it threw me into a direction. This is going to be my craft test. Reading rhetorically, Gatekeeper. Levi the librarian sent me a ton of different research options and a ton of different article options. This is literally a very minute selection of what Levi sent me, so that was really helpful. This is my checkup, my stop 7, copy and paste. Stop 8, my week 8 reading deeply. This was helpful because it made me go back and think about the pieces again and reanalyze them, and gave me further direction for my research. For my field work, I did a survey asking questions about people's personal opinions of communicating with strangers and talking with people like acquaintances, and then what they thought the benefits would be. What I thought was interesting about it is over 50% of them had reported conversing with strangers to be, quote, okay, I guess, or like unfavorable in some way. But at the same time, 76% of them voted yes, they did think that people would benefit from talking to new people. So the people being hesitant to talk to each other, but still seeing the benefits of it, I thought was interesting. And then for wrapping up, here's my wrapping up. Here's my works cited for what I talked about in it. For my wrapping up, I initially started with why certain people connect and others don't, and like why people are drawn to each other. And I really ended up more in the pros and cons and the benefits of talking to strangers and like what comes out of that and why we're afraid of it. So that's what I've led to. And 2 skills that have helped me get to this point is 1, I think having the questions at the bottom was really helpful for me because it helped me set up my research for the next week or for the next research piece. I knew what I wanted to answer. So having to think about it and answer or write those down immediately, it was fresh in my mind, and so I knew exactly what I wanted to go for. I think also having multiple types of research was helpful. I think from a school perspective, I usually go for more academic sources, but having things like even like that opinion poetry type piece, it really added emphasis to what was going on and to my question that I'm trying to answer. And so those type of pieces added to what I was trying to answer. So yeah, I think that is all the things. So thank you.